Trade evolutions are one of the most universally frustrating things in Pokemon history. They were neat back in the day, but even then, it made some really cool Pokemon completely inaccessible to a lot of people. And nowadays, I just feel like everyone is pretty much over the whole concept. So, what if Pokemon with trade evolutions got new, normal, non-trade evolutions, as a way to kind of circumvent the frustration of the harder-to-get trade evos? Well, that is what we're going to be exploring in this video, so let's hop right in. The first one I want to start with is an older Pokemon known for its trade evolutions, and that is Porygon. Porygon is unique in that it has not one, but two trade evolutions, and those trade evolutions also involve items, so needless to say, getting Porygon 2 and Porygon Z hasn't exactly been the most delightful walk in the park. So, as an alternative, what would it be like if Porygon got a standard evolution as well? Well, I think this concept actually fits perfectly with Porygon in particular, and that is thanks to Porygon Zero. This is my idea for what a non-trade Evo Porygon evolution could be like, and I genuinely think it just works perfectly. Since the concept behind Porygon is that it evolves with the use of upgrades, where its software is improved and whatnot, Porygon Zero is based on outdated software, since it would not be evolving with the upgrade and dubious disc that Porygon 2 and Z do. So this concept acts as a contrast to Porygon's other evolutions, while also being consistent with the lore, if you will, of those evolution methods. Also, in going along with the naming conventions of the Porygon family, I think the name Porygon Zero works perfectly as well, and it's just a great fit all the way around. Not to mention, it also sounds cool too. I also decided to make Porygon Zero a normal ghost type, which is not only a really cool type combo, but it's also one that legitimately makes a lot of sense for the Pokemon, due to Porygon already being a normal type itself, and because of the outdated software motif that fits well with the ghost type. So overall, I think Porygon Zero is a great example of how this general concept for regular evolutions for trade evolution Pokemon could actually be really cool. And the good news is, we have still got plenty more to cover. And we have plenty more to cover thanks to today's lovely sponsor, Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. These boxes bring you yummy Japanese snacks and treats right to your door every month. And right now, they're chock full of tasty summer-themed goodies. From orange chocolate-flavored Kit Kats and fruity gummies in the Tokyo Treat box, to authentic teas in the Sakura Co box, these boxes allow you to get a literal taste of Japan without even having to leave the comfort of your home. And speaking of Sakura Co, it is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that specializes in the culture and traditions of Japan. So you also get stuff like authentic tableware each month, like this beautiful looking bowl. The best part is, you can also get $5 off of your first box by using the link in the description and code HOOPS at checkout. And when you do, it also directly supports the channel too and helps to keep these videos happening. So be sure to check it out, and a big thanks to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co for sponsoring. Phantump is going to be the Pokemon that we cover next, and this one is a bit more personal for me. Phantump is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, but Trevenant, as its evolution, just falls completely flat comparatively in my opinion. I've never been a fan of it personally, so getting the chance to do another evolution of Phantump that is more or less what I feel like a Phantump evolution should have actually been sounded like a really fun and exciting thing to try. So without further ado, I would like you all to meet Petridai. To me, this is what a Phantump evolution could have and should have been. And like Porygon Zero, I think the concept for it works amazingly well. While Phantump is a ghost grass type, Petridai is actually a ghost rock type. Believe it or not, this is actually a type combo that has not been used to this point, so that already makes it kind of cool all by itself, but it's also cool because it comes from the fact that Petridai is based on petrified wood. With Phantump being a ghostly tree stump, it evolving into petrified wood just feels like a perfect way to emphasize that concept even more in a really interesting way. And if you take Trevenant into consideration, it also helps Petridai to stand out as a unique and original counterpart, which feels like it would help to justify the existence of this Pokemon all the more. The name Petridai is also a nice fit that just comes together really smoothly in my opinion, and then its appearance in general is just way more in line with what I think a Phantump evolution should have been like. So to me, this gives Phantump the evolution it deserves, while also showing how this whole concept in general could actually work really well. Next, I'm gonna do another Pokemon from Kalos, but before I do, a big shout out goes to Rgreywind for drawing the artwork of the designs in this video, and if you would like, you can check him out with the links in the description. Getting back to this next Kalos Pokemon though, we're going to be looking at Aromatisse, and it honestly may not be very hard to see why. Aromatisse is not a very popular Pokemon by any means, and a lot of people wanted to see Spritzee go in a different direction with its design for its evolution, so I thought it would be a good candidate to receive a new, standard, non-trade evolution as well. This is Ravenant, and it goes more in the direction that many people wanted Spritzee to go with its evolution originally, and that is using the Plague Doctor elements of the Pokemon as the focus of the design. Ravenant incorporates those elements more heavily as its main point of emphasis, and this is what makes it a fairy dark type upon evolving, with the dark type being a nod to the black plague that plague doctors are associated with. This element is why I also decided to base Ravenant on a raven, because ravens are known to be omens and symbols of death, which naturally fits well with the background of the plague doctor theme. The name Ravenant comes from this as well, as it's a pretty natural blend of the words raven and revenant, which is a word also associated with death. So all in all, I think the concept is pretty solid, and I think it shows that a Plague Doctor focused evolution for Spritzee could have actually been pretty cool. One of the most classic trait evolutions, and maybe even the first one you think of when it comes to mind, is Machamp. Obviously, it was one of the first, and because of that, it's just one of those prototypical trait evolutions that is practically emblematic of the whole mechanic. So I knew that it would be a lot of fun to try and come up with a normal evolution of Machoke, and I feel like I was able to come up with a fun concept. This is Machamp, and Machamp is obviously quite the opposite to Machamp. The first thing I knew that I wanted to do with this evolution was take away the 4 arms that Machamp has, because it's kind of implied that Machamp gets those 4 arms from being traded with Graveler, who is also another trait evolution. Plus, with a name like Machamp, Machamp just kinda seemed like a natural way to go, especially if it's not gonna have those 4 arms, because that's obviously going to be a bit of a downgrade comparatively. Machamp has also lost its championship belt as a part of this whole chump concept, but at the same time, this Pokemon isn't meant to be deliberately sucky either. As a clear contrast to Machamp, who is more offensive-oriented, Machamp would be defensive-oriented, to be something that you could reliably count on as a wall for your team. To sort of symbolize its fall from grace, Machamp also gains the normal type to become a fighting normal type too. But while the normal type is meant to convey a sense of lameness almost, going along with the whole chump vibe, it also does help Machamp to stand out too, because gaining a new type is always fun, and it does also give this Pokemon an immunity to the ghost type, which does technically help with the whole defensive vibe. So that is what Machoke might evolve into if it didn't get traded and get Graveler's 4 arms like I mentioned earlier. But with that in mind, what would happen to Graveler in that situation? I knew when making Machamp that I definitely had to explore a Graveler evolution as well, and that evolution is Gabramolt. Obviously, it retains its 4 arms as previously mentioned, but the other idea that this evolution is framed around is mostly just its typing. When thinking of ideas for this Pokemon, I came up with a Rock-Fire type evolution that would be based around lava and magma, and would basically be a regional evolution that would be introduced in some new generation, where the new region includes a volcanic environment that over time caused the Graveler in the area to eventually be able to adapt and evolve into Gabramolt. I think it would be a really cool way to go to do something like this, and I have to say that this one is definitely one of my favorites of this bunch. But it was also really tricky to come up with a name for this guy. After thinking about it for a while and doing some research too, I came up with the name Gabramolt because it comes from Gabbro, which is a type of rock, and not just a type of rock, but one that fits with the rest of the Graveler family. While they don't exactly have matching names, they do all start with the letter G, so I thought that a new evolution for this line, if it was something that actually happened, would probably have to start with a G as well. Also, the name Gabbro having bro at the end felt quite reminiscent and evocative of Geodude, so it just felt like it was kind of meant to be for the name of this Pokemon, and then from there, Molt was added onto the end of the name to also convey the lava magma vibes. I really love how Gabramolt turned out, honestly, and like I said with the other evolutions, I feel like they really show how these kinds of evolutions for Trade Evolution Pokemon could actually be really cool and interesting, and would actually work as a concept quite well. You will have to let me know how you feel about them though in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more as well. I'll see you soon with another new video too, and until then, as always, thanks so much for watching this one, I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.